Hello friends, Swaraj here, and today's topic is obviously about the sell-off that have happened today in the market. So right now its market is about to close. It's 317 and Sensex is down almost about 1000 points and Nifty is down about 256 points. So that is almost 2% sell-off. At one point of time, Bank Nifty was down 1000 points. That is around more than 3% sell-off. And there has been a little bit of settling as the market is about to close. It was expected that the profit booking will continue, but this kind of worst sell-off was not at all as expected. And I also did not expect. I expected market to fall maximum 1%, Bank Nifty also to fall 1%. But the sell-off has been very worse. And I tried to find out the reasons. One reason was already there, that yesterday market was closed and there was a huge violence in Delhi by the Farm Bill protesters. And I tried to find out whether only that is the reason or there is a global reason also. So global markets are not selling off. Actually, they are doing much better today. And there is a Fed meeting also. So all this Federal Reserve of USA, they have actually announced they are going to push for another stimulus package. So there was no other reason for our markets to fall. So one reason it can be given is that the Delhi violence that happened yesterday. The Farm Bill protesters, they actually had a plan to take out a tractor rally in Delhi. After the Republic Day parade is finished, they want to take out a tractor rally. So all the unions, they came together and they decided about a route from which they will take their tractor rally. And police also, they said if the protesters follow the route which they have decided, they will approve the tractor rally. And eventually the police approved the tractor rally and the route. But what happened was completely different. Not only the rally started before the parade, but the violence also started before the parade, as the national flag was hoisted on the by the president during the parade. As the parade was going on, violence was started. The barricades were broken. People with tractors, they started moving their tractors on the police. They started violence with police. They broke the barricades. And one unbelievable thing that happened was that they reached Red Fort and they breached the Red Fort. Police were not able to do anything because probably police were told by the government to not use violent force. And they breached the Red Fort. They went on the Red Fort. They took out the national flag. They threw it away and they hoisted some flags of their unions and their whatever groups. Various groups hoisted their own flags. So these scenes were unbelievable for many people, and that somewhere has hit the investor confidence.
As India celebrated its 72nd Republic Day, the scenes that were witnessed in the national capital today shamed the entire country. Even before the Republic Day parade ended, farmers began their tractor rally, breaking the very first condition laid down by the Delhi police. In the minutes that followed, farmers broke every rule in the book and turned what was supposed to be a peaceful protest into a full-fledged battle. Barricades were broken.
टिकरी बॉर्डर से निकले किसान इस वक्त नांगलोई पर पहुंच गए हैं और नांगलोई पर पुलिस ने उनके लिए बैरिकेड लगा रखा था। जो रूट तय किया गया था उस रूट से जाने के लिए कहा था, लेकिन फिलहाल किसानों और पुलिस के बीच झड़प, और आप देखिए किस तरीके से किसानों ने तमाम बैरिकेड तोड़ दिए हैं और उनको तोड़कर किसान आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बड़ा ट्रक का डंपर लगाया गया था और देखिए किस तरीके से उसको पूरा पलट दिया है किसानों ने।
Public property was vandalized.
The big container placed by the police has been moved by the agitating.
By midday, hundreds of thousands of farmers reached the heart of the national capital. At ITO, where the Delhi police headquarters is located, farmers ran riot, whether they were on foot or on their tractors. Some even threatened the police with swords. Others went ahead and assaulted the cops. But the farmers did not stop there. Their goal was clear: to breach India's symbol of national unity. From the peripheries of Delhi, the farmers reached the iconic Red Fort. They entered the forecourt and climbed the ramparts. They also hoisted a sacred flag of Sikhs.
By some of the farmers who were part of the tractor rally.
The Kisan tractor rally left a trail of destruction in the national capital region.
Let me just show you how the open violence broke here.
Delhi police vowed to take legal action against the protesting farmers.
डेफिनेटली जो इसमें नुकसान हुआ है और जिस तरह से असॉल्ट हुआ है पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स के ऊपर, जो पुलिस बल के ऊपर, उसमें जो भी लीगल एक्शन बनता है वो निश्चित तौर पे लिया जाएगा.
After hours of chaos and the Samyukt Kisan Morcha, an umbrella body of 450 farmer organizations across the country, conveniently claimed that the tractor rally was infiltrated by antisocial elements. Farmers or vandals. One thing is for sure, this was nothing short of anarchy in the name of protests.
Many people who might have been watching this might have been watching this in disbelief, because our rally, which was promised to be peaceful and which was going to be peaceful, turned to be violent within minutes, even before their allotted time. So these were unbelievable scenes. Many of these tractors and many of these protesters tried to reach towards the parliament also, but they were stopped by the police and the CRPF forces. So this kind of scenes in the national capital takes a huge hit on the investor sentiments of foreign investors and as well as local investors. Now this has become a trend. Even last year during the anti-CAA protests, same thing happened and worst violence happened and riots happened. I don't know whom to blame, but in this case I totally see that these protesters are to be blamed. Now let's go to the reasons of this protest and what is happening. I have been following this protest or whatever the sequence of events for a very long time, and I'll tell you the reason. The reason are the farm bills. Usually I make videos on the stock market, but farm bills is also a very huge issue, because farming is almost one of the biggest. Farming has a very huge weightage on our GDP. So farming cannot be taken lightly, and you have to read these bills, or a person who is involved in analysis, financial analysis and economical analysis or market analysis has to read these bills. So these bills I read, and the first change that happened was government actually broke the monopoly of APMC. APMC is nothing but mandi, a marketplace which is run by cooperatives, and farmers come there and sell their produce to the dalal or the broker. So these brokers, what they do, they form their cartels and they take advantage of poor farmers, and they actually give them very low prices, and this broker takes this produce and gives it to another person or someone in the market or a retailer at a higher price. So farmers were not getting advantage because of this monopoly. So first change by the farm bill was done, that they broke this monopoly. They said that anyone can sell outside the mandi also. It is not compulsory anymore to sell their produce only in the mandi. So as I am speaking now, the selling is even getting worse. So it is very bad. Though I am profitable today, but it looks very bad that poor investors, they have taken a hit. So as we speak, still selling is going on, and after the bounce back, even again there is a selling. Again the market is going to today's low. But anyways, let's get back to the topic. The first change was they broke the monopoly of mandis. Second change was the restriction by geography. So a farmer can sell his produce anywhere in India or anywhere in the world. So previously there were many rules by the state government and locally that farmer can sell his produce. Say suppose a farmer has produced in Maharashtra, he can sell only in Maharashtra. If he has produced in Pune, he can sell only in a mandi in Pune. So that has been broken. Now he can sell anywhere in India. And then there was a rule that anyone can be a broker now, or anyone can be a trader. That means I also having a PAN card, a simple PAN card also can be a license to trade with any farmer, or any farmer himself can also be a broker and he can do it. So that was a way of breaking the monopoly of the mandis or the brokers in the mandis. So they were forming a cartel. So it was a attempt to break the cartel. And there was no change in MSP. They were not closing down the mandis also, nothing as such. But some vested interest, some political parties, just to cause a furor among the farmers, because farmer vote bank is huge, they started spreading this disinformation that MSP is going to go away and mandis are also going to be closed. So all these brokers, all these mandi owners who sit in the market, who are way richer than the actual farmers who work on the field, they started this campaign to protest against the government, and most of the protests came from Punjab and Haryana, and the rest of the states like Maharashtra has the highest number of farmer suicide. Then next is Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. So these states did not protest these laws because the farmers were very much convinced, because they know these changes are going to benefit us. Because what happens usually is when a government brings this law, it doesn't happen overnight. Now this law was going to be brought by Congress itself during its government in 2012, but they did not have the numbers, or they probably did not have the political will to cause unrest in the between the farmers, because they were worried our farmer votes will go. Then this law was again tried to be brought in 2018, but since the parliament session ended, this law could not be brought. But the consultation for these laws began during 2002 itself, and since then consultation itself is going on. So what happens when a law is to be made? On ground level, people are consulted. Like for this, farmers were consulted all over India, farmer unions were consulted, and then only these bills are formed. And eventually what happened, there was a pandemic, so this and there was no visibility when the parliament will open. So not only farm bill, education bill and many other bills were passed by the group of ministers, and not only group of ministers but in presence of many chief ministers also of various states. So they also accepted it, and not only BJP chief ministers but also Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, all chief ministers accepted it. But it was very surprising that these chief ministers, after accepting with these bills, are now opposing it. But anyways, I don't want to go into the politics of it. I want to say that this misinformation campaign was spread for a long time. Many rounds of meetings happened between so since 60 days of protest, many of the meetings have happened between the agriculture minister and these unions. Government has accepted many changes to the bill proposed by some of the unions, and still these people were not ready to get out of the protest. So after 10 meetings, at the 11th meeting and the intervention by Supreme Court, the government conceded its defeat and it said, okay, we will suspend the bills for 2 years, we will not implement these bills, so now you end your protest and go back home. But this suspension also was not accepted, and this was very surprising, because when a government suspends the bill, it is very difficult for it to accept the bill again or pass the bill again, because right now the government has majority and it doesn't know whether it will have the majority or political will, because after 2 years, 4 years will be gone. And until then, the election year comes in and the government will not be able to implement the bill. So this was actually a victory for the protesters, but still they did not accept this change also. And then the government said that, you have to accept this because we cannot do more than this. So in spite of accepting the new change and even suspending the bills, these protesters did not get up from the protest. And what their intention was, nobody knew, and it was surprising for many analysts and many were in shock that what is the intention. And yesterday the intention became very clear. The intention was clearly about violence, and the confidence of investors, foreign investors, should be hit. That was the intention, and that was successful, and it is being seen today, the results. So it is very difficult in India to implement something new, because reforms have to happen. It's region wise, the realities are different. Like, the farmers of Punjab and Haryana are very prosperous, but the farmers on the southern part of India are very, very poor. And these farmers are not protesting that. Only farmers of two states, mostly Punjab and mostly Haryana, are protesting it. And government should have explored various this thing, or their own state government should have explored additional changes to the bill when they are implementing in their state. And state governments have this power. When they make these changes, they should have accepted the changes made by the central government, and the chief ministers of those particular states, say Punjab and Haryana, they should have made changes to the bill, additional changes according to the feedback from their farmers, and implemented in their state. But that was not happening, because clearly the protesters were playing politics, and also the individual chief ministers also was playing politics. And this is the result that we are seeing. The investor confidence has been hit. So now people might say Sensex is not important for the GDP, it doesn't represent the GDP. No, that argument is very stupid, because Sensex, Nifty, they are barometer of GDP. Some people will argue GDP is so bad, but Sensex is high. That means it doesn't show the reality. No, this stock market, Sensex and Nifty, they predict the future, how the economy is going to perform in the future. So that is the reason they rallied so much. In next 6 months, they see that the economy will do much better, and that is already visible. Car sales are at all-time high. Now there is going to be a new law being brought that 15-year-old commercial vehicles might attract huge penalty taxes. So there will be new sales of commercial vehicles. It will promote the economy even further. I went to the mall here in Pune last week, and the crowd was huge. The amount of buying, the lines at the billing counters, they are huge. There are multiple counters opened at one of the outlet. I don't want to name the outlet, and the lines were huge. And still, if people say that the markets do not represent the economy, that is a very naive opinion, I might say. So this kind of protest, people before supporting this kind of protesters must actually rationally think what are they trying to do. And many, after this violence, many of the supporters of these protesters have actually realized that the intention was violence from the start, and they have succeeded in that, and somewhere the investor confidence has been hit. So that was my analysis of the events that are going. If you have your own opinion, do tell me. Thank you.